Hi guys, welcome to class. Now let's discuss protection against bacteria. Alright, now bacteria, when they invade our body, they cause disease. Likewise for the normal flora, when they move from their anatomical position to another place where they shouldn't be, like the one resident in the upper respiratory tract moving to the stomach, is going to cause infection. One on the skin, those present on the skin, when there's a cut in your skin and they're moving, they're going to cause infection. And even though we have bacteria from exogenous source, that is outside the body, when it invades the body, to the food we eat, drinks, the water we drink, the air we breathe, even the clothes we wear, it's going to cause infection. It's going to cause disease. And this infection will eventually lead to the setting up of a disease state. So it's important to protect ourselves against bacteria. Now, our first line of defense to bacteria or to bacterial infection, to diseases caused by bacteria, bacteria itself, is via the body's immune system. You see, if we should start discussing immunity, it's quite a broad topic, right? Because you talk about innate immunity as well as acquired immunity. Now, when you are dealing with bacteria, it's more of an innate immunity. But intense bacterial infections, you have to recruit your acquired immunity. Now, innate immunity is more like your first line of action. And that's one mediated by your natural killer cells, your neutrophils, basically. So, you encounter, that is the phagocytic cells, even your macrophages as well. So you encounter a bacteria in the system. What the body does is that once the body recognizes it, because it's a foreign body, it's a foreign invader, once the body recognizes it, it's going to trigger out actions that eventually lead to this bacteria being phagocytosed, that is being consumed by these cells of innate immunity, which I've earlier mentioned, the natural killer cells, the neutrophils as well as the macrophages. So they see it, they recognize it, they pick it, they consume it, intracellularly, they destroy it. Even, like I said, normal flora can be opportunistic in infection. They could be regarded as opportunistic pathogens, but they also help to protect us against infection. Because if there's one major thing that the normal flora does, is that it prevents colonization. When I mean colonization, that is, when this invading bacteria gets into, let's say, the gut, because it's already gut bacteria itself, they will not allow it to colonize, because they themselves are abundant. So that's why it prevents this bacteria from colonizing the gut. And that's the reason why I said, do not abuse antibiotics. Because when you abuse antibiotics, you are going to clear out the normal bacteria, the normal flora present in the gut. So when there's now a fresh bacterial infection, once you get there, it's not going to find anybody to compete with. It's just going to occupy. And that's the reason why a person will come down with severe infections. So these are ways that the body help to prevent against helps to protect us. These are the immune system to protect the human body from bacterial infection. And the acquired immunity, in case of severe, you can have the T cells, the B cells. The T cells will eventually activate the B cells. The B cells eventually produce certain protein substances which we call antibodies, which will eventually fight off this bacterial infection. And also, one way which is quite weird is that another way of protecting against bacterial infection is by exposing oneself to bacteria. Exposing oneself to disease-causing bacteria. So these concepts we'll be discussing in the next class. So we've looked at 4 major ways now. The first one is the body's immune response to bacteria helps to protect us against bacterial infection. That is the innate immunity. Also, normal flora present in the body, especially in the skin, will prevent the entry of the bacteria into our bodies. And the cells of the acquired immunity, the T cells, the B cells, help us to fight off infections by producing these disease-fighting proteins called antibodies. And finally, exposure to bacteria can help to protect us against bacterial infection. How? We'll see in the next class. See you in the next class.